Hi everybody, this is week 3, lesson 2, and for today's lesson, you are in charge of watching this video, doing a reading with me, and then answering some questions in an exit ticket. So, in your packet, if you just turn pages a couple more, you'll find your reading. If you want to follow along with me too, that is fine. So in the last video, we knew that the Reformation is a time of change in Europe, focused on Roman Catholic. We have a man named Martin Luther who is upset because he now knows that the church has been lying to him. So before Martin Luther, we know that the Bible was only written in Latin and only certain people could read it and translate it. Once the printing press was invented, now there's more accessible versions of the Bible. They're in different languages, people can read it, and as they start reading it for themselves, they realize, hey, the church lied about a couple things. The church translated things wrong a couple times. And we found out that the church was accepting indulgences or money for forgiveness or people trying to buy their way into heaven. So Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King, began to speak out, and he posted a list of his 95 theses, or a list of 95 complaints, and he nailed it onto the door of the church. He, of course, the church didn't like that, and he, of course, got in trouble, was excommunicated, and then became a heretic, or a heretic, which means someone that goes against the church, someone that is being punished. So for this lesson, we are going to do a little bit of reading, just a little bit, and then you are going to fill out a Google form about the reading. You might want to have the reading out or open in a separate tab as you do the questions because it is directly related to the text. So, the Protestant Reformation. And if you remember, they're called Protestants because if you take away the ANT, we have the word protest. So they are protesting the church, and Reformation, of course, means a change. So, the Protestant Reformation is the name of the religious reform movement that divided the Roman Catholic Church. Corruption was the main reason that people wanted reform of the church. Often, popes were more concerned with politics than with spiritual matters. Many church officials used their church offices to gain wealth. Some clergy sold indulgences. An indulgence was a reduction of all or part of the punishment of a sin. In the early Middle Ages, indulgences were earned by doing good deeds, such as joining the Crusades. But by the late 1400s, the church gave indulgences in exchange for money. Many Christians thought paying for indulgences was wrong. You're paying for forgiveness, you're paying your way to heaven. Starting back here, Martin Luther was one of these people. He was a German monk and professor who prayed, fasted, and tried to lead a holy life. The church's corruption and worldliness disappointed Luther. An event in 1517 was the last straw for Martin Luther. A priest named Johann Tetzel set up a pulpit near Wittenberg, Germany. He offered indulgences to any Christian who gave money to rebuild the cathedral in Rome. Tetzel made it sound like buying these indulgences would guarantee entry into heaven. Martin Luther was outraged. He wrote a list of 95 arguments against indulgences. The list, called the 95 Theses, said the church was wrong to sell indulgences. Luther wrote that Christians should be saved only by faith in God. He posted his list on the door of the Wittenberg church, and copies were distributed all over Europe. Later, Luther told Christians to reject the authority of Rome. He said that because the church would not reform itself, it must be reformed by others. The church told Luther to take back what he had said, but he refused. The Pope excommunicated Luther in 1521, which means to be thrown out of the church. The Holy Roman Emperor declared Luther an outlaw. It became a crime for anyone to give him food or shelter. But Luther had many powerful supporters, and thousands of Germans, which is where he's from, said he was a hero. Many people liked Luther's ideas. By 1530, Luther's followers called themselves Protestants because they protested the Pope's authority. They set up Lutheran churches. The Western Church had split. The Roman Catholic Church was beginning to lose much of the political power it had held for centuries. So on one side, you got the Roman Catholic Church, and you have people splitting off. protesting, breaking. They're now part of the Lutheran churches or the Protestant churches. So now the church that was once whole is split in two. Big change for monotheistic people. So now that we read that, you're going to go ahead and do the Google form with just like 5 multiple choice questions about the reading. And that is all for this lesson number 2. I will see you in lesson number 3. Bye.